Welcome back to SperryNdipity Travel, and today we're diving into a destination that's rewriting the rules of theme parks. From immersive worlds to state-of-the-art tech, Universal Orlando's brand new Epic Universe is shaping up to be a game changer. Whether you're a theme park veteran or planning your first Orlando adventure, this episode will give you the insights you need to plan smart, travel light, and experience more. Let's get into it.
Today, you and I are taking a fascinating journey into Universal Orlando Resort's newest creation, Epic Universe.
Yeah, it's almost here.
Get ready, because this really game-changing theme park officially throws open its gates on May 22nd, 2025.
That's right. And whether you're maybe, already mapping out your Orlando trip, or you're just a theme park buff keen to see the latest innovations.
Or maybe you just like knowing what's new.
Exactly. Or you just enjoy staying in the know about significant new developments, this deep dive is definitely tailored for you. We've sifted through a whole lot of information to bring you the crucial insights.
Absolutely. And our sources, just so you know where we're getting this from, include Orlando Informer's really comprehensive guide, SF Gates report, which highlights some, unique rules you'll want to know about.
Oh, intriguing.
Yeah. Wikipedia's got a broad overview. Then there are official announcements directly from Universal and Comcast, and even Fox Business looking at the park's wider impact.
It's a good mix.
A very good mix. Our mission today is pretty simple. Just give you a clear and engaging understanding of what Epic Universe is all about, where it is, the incredible experiences that await, and those interesting little details that make it stand out.
Sounds great. Where should we start?
Okay, let's unpack this, maybe starting with the big picture. The opening date itself.
Right. It's firmly set, May 22nd, 2025. And Universal is really making a statement, aren't they? Calling it a transformational theme park.
And their most technologically advanced park they've ever done.
Yeah, which makes you wonder, what does that actually mean in practice?
It does, and this scale is just huge. It's set to be the largest Universal park here in the U.S.
And second largest globally, right. Only Universal Studios Beijing is bigger.
Exactly. And what's interesting is its location. It's not right next door to the existing parks.
No, it's part of this completely new South Campus.
Right, about 15 minutes away from what they're now calling the North Campus.
Which is where, Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay are.
So it's like a whole new destination within the resort.
And that scale, it really shows ambition. This South Campus is around 750 acres.
Which is actually a bit larger than the North Campus, surprisingly.
Yeah, the North Campus is about 735 acres. So this expansion, it's a massive long-term investment they're making.
Definitely. And it sounds like getting between these two universes, I guess,
yeah.
will be pretty smooth. They've rebuilt the main road leading there.
And added a dedicated center median just for a fleet of electric buses.
Which should really help with transport, especially if you're planning to visit both campuses on your trip.
It really highlights the infrastructure investment they're putting in. They're clearly expecting a lot more visitors.
Okay, speaking of visiting, let's talk tickets. The good news is they're already on sale.
Right. Though initially, the one-day Epic Universe ticket was just for annual pass holders.
Ah, okay. But that's changed.
Yeah, as of March 13th, anyone can buy a one-day ticket. So good news if you're local or just doing a short trip.
And multi-day tickets are available too, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. Letting you visit Epic Universe and the other parks, but, and this is important, on separate days.
Right. So no park hopping involving Epic Universe, at least not right now.
Correct. You need to plan for that. If you pick Epic Universe, that's your park for the day.
Got it. Now here's where it gets really interesting, hinting at that most technologically advanced claim. Facial recognition.
Ah, yes. For park entry, lockers, even the express lanes.
What are your thoughts on that? Streamlining things.
It definitely points towards a more streamlined, maybe more convenient experience for guests. Imagine just walking in.
True.
But that SFG report mentions something quite specific about makeup.
Oh, yeah.
If you get the full-face monster makeup in Dark Universe, you might need to rescan your face.
Huh. Well, that makes sense, actually. You'd look completely different.
Totally unrecognizable. And SFG also flagged another pretty unusual rule connected to that same makeup experience.
Go on.
This one involves alcohol? Yes, it seems, according to Universal's own FAQ, if you do the Darkmoor Monster makeup experience, which costs extra, by the way.
How much extra?
It's $45 for just the makeup, or $169 if you get accessories too. But if you do it, you will not be allowed to buy or drink alcohol anywhere, not just in Epic Universe, but in any Universal park or even City Walk.
Wait, really? Even after you leave the park for the day? if you're still made up.
Apparently so. No cocktail at City Walk if you're still looking like Frankenstein's monster.
Wow, that's quite a restriction, isn't it?
It is. SF8 pointed out that at Disney, even with face painting, there isn't a rule like that. Probably because the makeup is different, less obscuring.
So what do you make of this rule? Why do you think they're doing it?
It really emphasizes how immersive they want Dark Universe to be. Maybe they want that transformation total. Or perhaps it's about ID checks or even guest behavior concerns if someone in full monster gear is also drinking.
Could be. It's certainly a rule that makes you stop and think. Very unique.
Definitely noteworthy.
Okay, let's shift gears. How are you actually going to navigate this massive new park? Because the layout's different, right?
It is. This is a first for Universal in Orlando. They're using the classic wheel and spoke design.
Like Disneyland made famous way back when.
Exactly, back in 1955. It's a big shift from their usual park designs, which are often more linear or have multiple paths branching off.
So why the change now, do you think?
Well, the wheel and spoke layout with that central hub and the lands radiating out, it's generally seen as making navigation really intuitive for visitors, easier to get your bearings.
And the central hub here is called Celestial Park. But it's not quite a traditional hub, is it?
No, Orlando Informer described it more like a huge long corridor, which actually gives it a lot of space for experiences, food, entertainment.
And even rides right in the middle of the park. That's different.
It is. And what's also interesting, as Orlando Informer noted, is how the four themed lands, they call them portals, seem quite isolated from each other. Meaning Celestial Park is the only way to get from one land to another. They don't connect directly. It really forces that feeling of entering a totally new world each time you go through a portal.
Like stepping through a doorway into another dimension.
Kind of, yeah. We saw hints of that with Diagon Alley, but this is the whole park designed that way.
Okay, so let's explore Celestial Park itself then. It's the hub, themed around astrology. Sounds beautiful, with walkways, fountains, ponds.
And like you said, it's not just for walking through. It has 2 rides of its own.
Yeah, Constellation Carousel, a celestial-themed carousel. Sounds lovely.
And Stardust Racers, a dual-tracked launched roller coaster.
A launched coaster right in the hub. That sounds intense.
It does. They clearly want Celestial Park to be a destination in itself. And there's plenty of dining there, too.
What kind of options?
Well, there's Atlantic, which is an underwater-themed seafood place, the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian restaurant, plus quick spots like Frosty Moon, Meteor Astropub.
Pizza Moon.
Yeah.
I like the naming theme.
Me too. And the Oak and Star Tavern. So quite a variety right there in the center.
And for people wanting the ultimate convenience, there's the hotel, right? Inside the park.
That's the Universal Helios Grand Hotel, 500 rooms, actually located within Celestial Park.
Wow. Does it have its own entrance?
It does, a dedicated entrance straight into Epic Universe, plus early park admissions starting May 23rd. Reservations open back in April, so people are already booked.
That seamless integration, hotel right in the park, seems key to their design here.
Absolutely. And visually, Celestial Park should be stunning. They mentioned 7 million individually controllable LEDs embedded for fireworks and light shows.
7 million. The level of detail is just...
Yeah.
Wow.
Quite remarkable.
Okay, next portal. Let's head into the wizarding world of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. Now, as a big Potter fan, this is hugely exciting. It's expanding the world again.
Exactly. And into 2 really distinct places and times. You've got 1920s Paris from Fantastic Beasts.
And the British Ministry of Magic from the original Harry Potter series, set in the 90s.
Right. How do you think they'll blend those 2?
I'm imagining this really cool contrast, visually and atmospherically. And the main ride sounds incredible. Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry.
Described as an elevator-themed dark ride.
Yeah, where you apparently witness Dolores Umbridge's trial and her escape. Sounds like you're right in the thick of it. Maybe facing down some Death Eaters.
Could be. And there are other experiences, too, like Le Cirque Arcanus, a live full-scale theater show set in Place Cachet, that hidden wizarding street in Paris.
Nice. And food. Always important.
Of course. There's Café L'air de la Sirène, Bar Moonshine, Le Gobelet Noir, and shopping at La Galerie Mirifique. Lots of French wizarding vibes.
And here's something really cool for the Fantastic Beasts fans. Eddie Redmayne filmed new scenes.
He did, as Newt Scamander, specifically for this land.
That's amazing. It really connects the 2 eras they're featuring.
Definitely enhances the authenticity, brings you right into the story.
Okay, brace yourself for some serious nostalgia next. We're warping into Super Nintendo world. This has been so eagerly awaited, hasn't it? Finally bringing Mario and friends to Orlando permanently.
It really has. And it sounds incredibly immersive, mainly focused on Mario and Donkey Kong. You even enter through a giant warp pipe.
Love that touch. So iconic. Yeah. What are you expecting inside?
I'm expecting it to feel like you've literally jumped into the games. The attractions sound spot on. Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge.
The augmented reality racing one. Can't wait for that.
Then there's Yoshi's Adventure, which is an omnimover ride, more gentle, family-friendly.
Right, continuously moving vehicles.
And maybe the most anticipated, Minecart Madness.
The Donkey Kong coaster. The boom coaster, they call it.
Yeah, with that innovative track that's meant to make it feel like the cart is jumping over gaps in the track.
That sounds absolutely wild, like nothing else out there.
It really does. And the land itself is split. You've got the colorful Super Mario Land, and then the more jungly Donkey Kong Country.
Different zones within the world. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And food. We need mushroom-themed snacks, right?
You bet. There's Toadstool Cafe, Yoshi's Snack Island, the Bubbly Barrel, Turbo Boost treats, plenty of themed options.
And those interactive vans, power-up bands.
Yep, they'll be available too, letting you interact with different elements in the land, collect coins, that sort of thing, just like in Japan and Hollywood.
Adds another layer. Cool. Okay, where to next? How about dragons?
Let's fly over to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk.
This one sounds huge, too. Apparently the largest of the IP lands.
That's what the reports say, and it's set specifically between the second and third movies.
Ah, interesting timeline placement. It sounds like they've really tried to capture the look and feel of Berk.
Absolutely. Sweeping landscapes, Viking atmosphere. The attractions sound great, too. Hiccup's wing gliders.
A launched family coaster, but still meant to be thrilling.
Then Dragon Racers Rally, those skyfly rides where you control the spin, makes you feel like you're soaring on a dragon.
And Fire Drill, an interactive boat ride.
Yeah, where you battle living fire, apparently. Plus, the Untrainable Dragon stage show, and a Viking training camp play area for kids.
And get this free-flying dragon drones.
I saw that. Flying overhead, how cool that be?
Unbelievable. The tech integration, the visuals.
Yeah.
Must be amazing.
It sounds like it. And of course, themed food. Mead Hall is the big one.
Serving? Yaknog. What on earth is Yaknog?
Huh. Apparently, it's a non-alcoholic mix of malted chocolate, cinnamon, and whipped cream. Sounds interesting.
Definitely unique. And there's Spitfire Grill and Hooligan's Grog and Gruel, too.
Those little thematic details at Yaknog, they really add to the immersion, don't they?
They really do. Okay, final portal. Time to be brave and step into Dark Universe.
Ooh, the gothic one. Universal Monsters territory.
Set in Darkmoor Village, centered around Dr. Victoria Frankenstein. So a new twist on the lore.
Yeah, an original backstory. This land promises a totally different vibe, proper classic horror, which Universal does so well.
And the main rides.
Monsters Unchained. The Frankenstein Experiment, which uses those QUK robot arms for the ride vehicle.
A really dynamic movement.
Exactly. And Curse of the Werewolf, a spinning coaster themed to the Wolfman.
Sounds like a good mix of dark ride thrills and coaster action.
And for total immersion, the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience.
Right, where you can get fully transformed.
Yeah.
But just remember that alcohol rule we talked about?
Crucial detail, and the dining fits the theme perfectly. Das Steakhouse.
A vampire steakhouse.
You.
With no garlic on the menu. Natural.
Of course not. Plus, the Burning Blade Tavern and DeLacy's Cottage.
And the music. Composed by someone pretty special, I heard.
Danny Elfman. Known for all those amazing, often gothic film scores, he did the original music just for this land.
That will definitely ramp up the atmosphere. Perfect choice.
Absolutely. Should feel like stepping right into a classic monster movie.
So that's a whirlwind tour of the 5 worlds. Incredible variety. But this whole park, Epic Universe, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It really has. The land itself, Universal actually owned it way back in the 90s for something like this, but then sold it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But the project, as we know it, was re-announced in August 2019. Huge buzz then.
But then, will 2020 happen?
Right. The pandemic hit, and construction had to stop in July 2020.
That must have been a major setback. When did it restart?
Thankfully, they were able to resume in March 2021, but the original opening target was 2023, so there were definitely delays.
Understandable, given everything. And the official date, May 22nd, 2025, was announced when?
October 2024. So it's been quite the journey to get here.
And they've been building hype with previews, right?
They have. Employee previews started back in March 2025, and then select guests got early access from April 17th.
Drumming up excitement. And they're even touring a giant portal replica.
Yeah, a 30-foot Cronus portal model is going around select U.S. cities until June 2025, a big promotional push.
Looking ahead then, is this it? Or are there whispers of more to come?
Oh, there's definitely speculation about future expansions. Phase 2 possibilities mentioned include things like Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And maybe even attractions based on the Wicked movies.
Wow, Wicked would be massive.
It suggests Universal sees Epic Universe as a platform for long-term growth, which is exciting for theme park fans.
And you can't talk about a new park in Orlando without mentioning the competition, can you?
Absolutely not. Epic Universe is clearly aimed at challenging Disney's long-held top spot.
Fox Business even reported on how Disney is responding, with their own deals and new attractions.
It's definitely heating up the Orlando market. Makes it a fascinating time for theme parks there.
And ultimately, that competition is usually good for us, the visitors, right?
Generally, yes. Both companies will likely push harder on innovation and guest experience to win people over. Better parks for everyone, hopefully.
Okay, so to sort of wrap things up here.
Yeah.
Epic Universe is clearly a huge deal for Universal Orlando.
Monumental, really. 5 incredibly distinct immersive worlds.
With cutting-edge rides, really unique dining, and just a massive focus on deep, detailed themes. It sounds like a very different kind of park experience.
It does, and that funny rule about the monster makeup and the alcohol.
Yeah, that still gets me.
It's just such an unusual detail, isn't it? It really makes you think about how far they're going for immersion and how they manage that guest experience across the whole resort.
It really does.
Okay.
Well, hopefully this deep dive has given everyone listening a really good, well-rounded picture of what Universal's Epic Universe is all about.
Yeah, a good shortcut to being in the know before it opens.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Go for it.
With this blend of huge movie and game franchises, plus all this cutting-edge tech, how do you think Epic Universe might actually change theme park design and maybe even our own expectations as guests going forward?
That's the big question, isn't it? It definitely feels like it's raising the bar. We'll have to wait and see how it all lands next May.
All right, guys, thank you for traveling with us on SperryNdipity Travel. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps others find the show. You'll find links to helpful gear, travel resources, and theme park tips in the show notes. Follow us on Instagram at SperryNdipity_travel and watch our latest travel vlogs on YouTube at SperryNdipity Travel. Questions, feedback, reach out to us at SperryNdipity@gmail.com. Until next time, keep exploring, and remember, life is in session. Vlog it. See you next time.